Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. This one, I'm here to talk about Islam Makhachev's recent comments regarding his upcoming opponent for UFC 302, Dustin the Diamond Poirier. But before getting started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification to get all it is that is new from this channel, your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. Islam Makhachev seems to think that Dustin the Diamond Poirier, despite his great boxing abilities, still lacks as a mixed martial artist, and specifically in the grappling aspect of things. And I'm not sure if I can agree with Islam here, just because for the Dagestani fighters, let's say the Russian Dagestani fighters, or specifically Islam and Khabib, the two fighters that really brought wrestling to the forefront of the UFC. I do understand that there are many other guys with fantastic wrestling background, but when we say Khabib and Islam, those guys continuously finish fights on the ground, which is to say the least, it's a rare thing. And I'm not saying that fights don't get finished on the ground. Obviously they do. There are many other guys with great jiu-jitsu background and wrestling background, but these two specifically kind of took that and took it to a whole different level. That being said, what I'm trying to say here is that when Islam judges or looks at a mixed martial artist, I believe his mental point of origin is wrestling when it comes to mixed martial arts, and he kind of works backwards. But there's one thing that Islam has to keep in mind, and this is something that's always repeated. Every fight starts standing up. Every round starts standing up. So at the end of the day, you're gonna have to deal with Dustin for seconds, fractions of seconds, or perhaps minutes if you're unable to take Dustin out to the ground on your feet. So, and it's only going to take a fraction of a second for Dustin to land something significant. I'm not saying that this is what I think is going to happen. All I'm saying is that that's a possibility, and it's a realistic possibility, especially when we're talking about a fighter the quality of Dustin Poirier. All we have to do is refer back to his very last fight against Bennett Saint-Denis, and you would see that it's not going to take much for Dustin to put top-class fighters out. And, with all respect to the lightweight champion here, but I don't look at Islam as the undefeatable fighter. He's obviously been defeated in the UFC before. It really bothers me when people compare him to Khabib. I do understand somewhat the styles are similar, obviously, for somebody who's just looking at the background. Yeah, they may seem more similar than they actually are, but I'm talking about them as fighters. They're two completely different things. And I say that because despite, I think, the physical, in terms of physicality, Islam perhaps is most definitely, let's say he most definitely has the upper hand on Khabib Nurmagomedov, not by much, but he's perhaps the bigger fighter by a little bit. But mentality-wise, Khabib is just on a different level. And I don't think that we're going to see anything close to Khabib anytime soon. Undefeated, and his list of opponents, especially in the latter stage of his career, is breathtaking to say the least. And it's actually included Islam's upcoming opponent, Dustin Poirier, and Khabib was able to finish Dustin in spectacular fashion. And I think the fight that Dustin had with Khabib is going to help Dustin out with his fight against Islam Makhachev, because as I said before, I look at Khabib, with all respect to the lightweight champion here, as the better fighter out of the two, and I think that Dustin fought the better fighter. And I think that he's learned a lot from his first fight against Khabib Nurmagomedov. And I think he's going to be much more, let's say, or I at least think, I would think that it's going to be much harder to take Dustin down this time around. And we all know if the fight is standing, who has the upper hand. Not to say that Islam doesn't have the ability to put Dustin out. Obviously, that would not be true. Islam obviously has the ability to knock you out as well. I'm just very interested in seeing what Dustin's takedown defense is going to look like come the night of UFC 302. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments and like, subscribe for more.